and Coach Diebler. Guys, a pleasure to have all three of you here. Jake, let's start with you. If I would have told you a year ago that a year from now you'll be sitting up here as Ohio State's head coach, what would you have said?
I would have said you need to go see the doctor. You might not be well.
Yes. Well, I'm not, but yeah. Tell me about how your life has changed as the head coach.
You know, I think the biggest difference going from being an assistant coach to a head coach is you're always, and it never stops, you're always thinking about other people. I felt like I did that as an assistant coach. It's a whole nother level as a head coach. And then you add a newborn, a move, although not far, but it's a lot of life happening all at the same time. But we're blessed. It couldn't be any better.
Yes, you talk about like the life stressors, and those are three things, right? The new job, the new kid, moving houses. So you've had a lot of stuff, and yet it's all good things. And when you guys think back, and Bruce, I want your input on this as well. You think back to that amazing run last year that started with the win over Purdue. You win 8 of the last 11. You almost made it to the NCAA tournament, which is pretty incredible when you think about what the middle of the season looked like. What do you think about? Like, what jumps into your mind?
Just first, I want to give all glory to God because how that season was, it was just a roller coaster. How you go from having one coach, and the next thing you know, you wake up, then he getting fired, and you got to play the #1 team in the country during that time. So I think #1 and #2 team in the country. So I did really give all glory to God, and just thankful to my teammates and Buckeye Nation throughout the whole support. Like, without my team, without that coaching staff that we had to finish out the year strongly, but we just know this year is a whole new beginning. We got a lot of new goals, a lot of new teammates, a lot of new coaching staff, but we willing to win at any cost, and that just the standard of Ohio State basketball this year.
Well, one of the new guys is sitting right next to you in Meechie. Now, Meechie, for those who don't know, I'm guessing most Big Ten fans remember, you started your career at Ohio State, you went to South Carolina, and now you're back at Ohio State. You obviously had a little Buckeye still in your heart. Were you watching, like, when all this stuff happened last year? Were you watching? Were you paying attention?
I would remember being at home. I don't know if it was after practice or after a game. I was watching, and he was my assistant coach when I was here, and I hosted him on his visit when he was here. And I was just literally with some people, and I was just like, I hope they win this game. Like, they deserve it. He deserved it, and they won. So I was just real happy for him.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story. It's crazy that you hosted Bruce. I know, Bruce, you were already committed, right? So it wasn't like Meechie needed to give you the hard sell on Ohio State. You'd been committed for a year, I think, when you were on that recruiting visit. But what do you remember about the visit? I know it included losing a football game, right, which is nearly unprecedented.
I mean, that visit went well. Me just being at Ohio State, just seeing the fans, just seeing the campus, it just felt like home. So to him, Meechie, former players, Dead Key, Eugene Brown just showed me just a great time around campus, and I just got back home safe and sound.
So Meechie sells you on Ohio State, and then he takes off. Right? But now you guys are together, and you have some similar skill sets. Obviously, you're different players in a lot of ways too. But tell me about being in a backcourt together with one another and what that might look like.
It's very dynamic. Every day in practice, we push each other to be better. He's one of the hardest players I've had to guard. And when I came here, Coach challenged me to be a first team, second team, all defensive player this year. So being able to go up against somebody like that, Bruce, every day, it gives me confidence because I know that when I step out there in the fire, I'm going to have somebody out there that I can really trust and rely on. And he's a great teammate. He's a great leader. When I'm getting yelled at by Coach, when I'm missing shots, like, he's that person that's, like, on me, like, to keep shooting, to keep going. And he's just a great person to be in the backcourt with.
How have you changed as a person and as a player since you were first in Columbus?
Like Bruce said, all glory goes to God, to still be in this point. I've matured a lot, and I've stuck to winning. I feel like that's been the same, really, because that's why I came back. I just always wanted to be a winner, and when I seen Jake got the job, that's what led me to coming back, and that's why I'm here, and I feel like that's what's still the same. But from a changing standpoint, just maturity and growing and understanding my game and, understanding basketball in a different way.
You did really well in the portal, not just getting Meechie, Aaron Bradshaw, Sean Stewart, two guys who were at major programs, maybe didn't get quite the playing time they wanted. There were some amazing players in that program with them. What do you see from each one of those guys where you think they can contribute in Columbus?
Well, I think what we're starting to see is their talent come forward more consistently. As practice has gone on, their production is starting to catch up. And those guys, they don't have the same experience as maybe these two have in college basketball, but they're going to get a great deal of experience as our season progresses. And I think it raises the ceiling of our team. The fact that those guys will continue to grow. They're certainly very talented, former McDonald's All-Americans, but really excited about what they, can grow into as the season moves forward. And then you also add Micah Parrish, who played in a national championship game. He's had multiple runs in the NCAA tournament. Has won a lot of college basketball games. And Quez Glover's a veteran, as well, that joined us from the transfer portal. So I'm really excited about the additions we were able to add from the portal, and the most encouraging thing for me is portal, freshmen, returners, it all blends together really well.
One of the things that really stood out when you took over last year was defensively this team improved by leaps and bounds. First, I'll ask you what happened. Like, how did you get guys to buy in at the defensive end? Was it an X and O thing? What did you guys do different on the defensive end?
At that time in the season, we couldn't change who we were, but we raised our aggressiveness on the defensive side. We were able to get more steals, which led to some easier baskets in transition. Listen, no coach, I think, wants to go against a set Big Ten defense over and over and over again, right? So we had to try to manufacture some easier opportunities offensively, and we thought if we could be more aggressive and raise our aggressiveness defensively, that would help. So that's where we started. Our guys bought into it, and we were good at it. Come to find out, we had personnel that was really good at it.
How would you describe the identity of this team? I'll ask the players first. So what's Ohio State basketball going to look like? What are the adjectives that people will use to describe it under Coach Diebler?
Our team is going to have a lot of grit. We're going to play with a lot of pace. We're going to play very tough. We're not going to play scared. Up, down. We're going to play our style of basketball, and that's just getting the best team shot we possibly can to get another stop. Now to get another team best shot, because I feel like we put so much work in our preparation and our belief in one another as teammates to uplift each other, to make those shots. I feel like we're going to be a great team. We're going to be a great team throughout the year.
Meechie?
I say a competitive edge. We play with a competitive edge. You come and watch us practice, you'll see me going up against Bruce. I don't care that he's Bruce. He don't care that I'm Meechie. Like, we're trying to take each other's heads off, and I feel like when you're doing that in practice, it makes the game a lot easier. And I feel like that's what we're going to bring every game. It's just a competitive edge to us.
What's Coach's identity as a coach? What's he like?
An intense coach, but I was just thinking that he's a very, one of our Buckeye values. He has a lot of joy to him. When the gym is pretty quiet, when things isn't going well, maybe when he's tired, when we're tired, he could be the loudest person in the gym at all times, and that's the type of person, type of coach that you need. And it brings joy to our team, it brings joy to the program, and you could just see it going through the whole program at all times. Everybody walks around with joy.
What would you add to that, Bruce?
Very intense. As anybody ever coached him or been around him, he's a very intense guy. But that's just his passion. That's just his passion for us as a team, and especially as Buckeye Nation as a whole. He just want us to see at a very high level, because he see what we do on a daily basis. We also see as teammates with the coaching staff and with the Buckeye support that we get behind each and every day.
Being in this spot for the first time, how do you find your voice as a head coach? How do you learn who you are as a head coach when you're thrust into it in a position like this one?
Going through that stretch last year, I got some great advice from, I'll name Scott Drew, for example. I'm close with the Drew
knows
family.
A thing or two about coaching, yeah.
He does know a thing or two. Thad Mata's another guy,
right.
But they all said you have to be yourself. And for me, our program is about the growth of these guys, both, on the basketball court and helping them achieve their dreams, but also off the court. And so I believe I have to invest everything I have on a daily basis to help them do that. And it starts with I can't fake it. They'll see right through that. It has to be real. It has to be authentic. And I guess to their point, there's a passion and an intensity involved in that for me.
Right.
But listen, the most influential people in my life have been coaches. Certainly my father, Homer Drew. I want to have that same impact. Those people have changed my life. I want to have that same impact on the young people that join our program. And in order to do that, I got to work to be my very best every single day, and that's my commitment, to them.
I asked these guys this question. I'll ask you, what are the adjectives you want to describe your team? What's the identity of Ohio State basketball?
When I think about that, I think about our former players, and I want them to watch us play, whether it's in person, whether they come to practice, or whether it's on TV. I want them to see a tough-minded, connected, like a team that plays with great urgency and is really, really competitive and takes pride in wearing Ohio State across their chest. That's what I love about these two guys. Meechie cares so much about winning at Ohio State. It's why he came back. Bruce stayed because he cares so much about winning at Ohio State. And as long as we have that in our program, we're going to get to where we want to go. And these two guys have led the way with that. And I think our former players have seen that with how much they've been around our program, and hopefully we'll continue to make them proud.
Well, it was really enjoyable to watch it down the stretch last year, and kudos to you and to you for making it happen. It was one of the better stories at the end of last season in the Big Ten. Meechie, welcome back. Good to see all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.